Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
This is a very, very special reaction for myself and a little bit for ACHARA because we are doing a reaction to Stuntmen React to Bad and Great Hollywood Stunts 29. This one is featuring two friends of mine, Travis Wong and Gui DaSilva. Travis and I have been friends for a very, very long time. I was just on his channel. You all should check it out. YouTube.com/joiningallmovement. We did reactions to like crazy parkour, tricking, stuff like that. Yeah, it's always fun to hang with him, and I hope you guys subscribe to his channel. While I'm going on a rant of subscribing, you know, subscribe to Corridor Crew, link in the description below. Also subscribe here if you haven't already, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Thank you, Corridor Crew, for allowing us to react to this and for bringing Travis on, and Gui DaSilva as well, but more so Travis. So.
Let's go.
I'm impressed that Paul Walker looked like he was handling his own with Tony Jaa.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Everything you're watching is completely 1000% practical, done on a green screen.
The funny thing is I also worked on this film.
Yes.
But I got to be a robot.
I went to the hospital 2 times on this movie.
Really? Is there an injury that made you go, okay, I'm done?
Nice.
Not
This
yet.
episode is brought to you by Vessi. Stick around to the end to see how you can get $25 off their amazing Everyday Move shoe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stuntmen React. I'm here not only with our longtime friend Gui, but Travis is joining us for the first time on the couch.
Yeah!
What's up, guys?
Hey,
He taught me how to
Travis!
fall off the top of this building, and I was like, maybe we should talk about some cool clips.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I have been waiting years to get invited to sit on this couch. And we finally made it happen. I was curious. I was like, are my credits not good enough? Like, what do I need to do to get invited to Corridor, you guys?
Right.
So both of these guys have some amazing credits to their name.
He's not lying, just so you know. Like, he's being very honest there. It's like, I don't know what's up, dude.
You've had that conversation with him?
More than once, yeah.
It's amazing work under their belt, and I cannot wait to show you guys some cool clips and also to see some of the stuff that you've worked on and get some stories from the inside.
There are definitely some stories, some that I would like to forget and some that I will never forget. So let's get into it.
Sweet.
We can take him.
You said so yourself, we're not ready.
So we're starting with a dance scene.
This is not just any dance scene though, Nico. Do you know why this is important? This is actually my first ever feature film that I ever did,
Oh,
which
what?
actually got contacted by the director to come in to do 1 day of reshoots. They had shot the entire movie in New York City, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, I worked on this film as well.
As a dancer.
Many people might not know, but Travis Wong's also a dancer.
Yeah.
He's doing his b-boy stuff right now on Instagram, which is pretty dope.
The dancer.
Yeah, and so they brought us back in for reshoots for this one epic scene. You guys about to see where I made my money?
Boom, right there, baby.
Don't blink, you just missed it. That was my introduction into the feature film world. Right there in that 1 second.
Oh,
there it
that's
is,
cool.
doing a full twist
there you
with
are.
the kick. Yeah, you can kind of see the
Oh,
face.
yeah.
And then I do the full twist with a kick, and then my friend does a kick into a full twist, so we're kind of doing like a opposite move. But what is cool though is, of all the people in the world, all of our friends that are like world-renowned trickers, that is the first time that the word tricker was credited in a motion picture
Oh,
credits.
what?
A little bit of history.
And luckily this came out in 2010, because 2011 is when The Kick came out. You guys know The Kick?
I don't know that one.
Never seen The Kick?
What?
You never seen The Kick?
What's the kick?
We have to bring that
Christian,
up.
pull up The Kick. So
Whoa,
basically, The Kick was cool because it was one of the first
whoa,
times
I've
they
never
really
seen
featured,
this.
like martial arts tricking cinematically.
How would you define tricking?
So tricking is an aesthetic blend of martial arts combined with elements of acrobatics, breakdancing, gymnastics. It's basically taking like elements of every single
actually
sport
looks
and
really
adding the
cool.
most aesthetically pleasing combinations together. It's basically like real life Street Fighter.
Okay, awesome.
Without making contact until you see.
Until you see this.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
I need to see this movie.
Wow.
Go.
Yo, I mean, what's more embarrassing than getting kicked? A side flip to a kick followed by a dance move, right? I just feel so bad for these guys over there. They're literally just crash test dummies, just lining up to get kicked.
Yep.
You got kicked in the face right there.
Damn.
Look at this. Boom! Can't fake that. There was no stack on that hit.
And they added powder too. Did you catch the powder?
Yeah.
The powder helps to like really
Sell the stunt.
give it like a bigger effect, yeah.
Little Hilton Bosch for those who like to dance.
Nice.
Man, I mean, how have you not seen this movie?
This is great.
I never heard of
This
it.
is so classic, right?
I love seeing like cool new scenes on this show that I've never seen before and just being like, whoa, this exists.
I love how they subtitled
Yeah.
Out
Hiya.
there.
Yo, I know a lot of people are freaking out about Andy Lee and Shang-Chi going crazy. But this is 2011, you guys. Hey, yo, Andy Lee, step your game up.
Death killer kick, bro. I love you to death.
10 years later, bro, and you got to do the double variation now.
I need 3 kicks.
Yes.
I was born
That's
to be
true,
a
right?
vampire.
Hey, if it's working.
Ha! Yes.
Yo, we went from dancing to vampires? Yo.
Right.
This was actually my first movie run. And a movie run is when you go on a film for the entire duration of the filming production. So I'd worked on films for like a day, a week, and stuff like this, but I was on this film for 3.5 months of my life.
Wow.
Chris Brewster in there.
Yo.
Oh, what?
Brewster,
Oh.
Chris Brewster.
Holland Diaz, Aaron Toney, Rich the
Aaron
Shrunk.
Toney.
Aaron Tony's in this?
Yeah, Aaron Toney's in here. It's probably to date one of the craziest stunt teams that I've ever been a part of.
For this
So
movie.
here's me getting my arm ripped off, get thrown by Holland Diaz, and boom, ripped an arm off. And what's funny is 2 minutes later, I get my other arm ripped off by another girl. It's kind of like glorified background fighting in this because there's so much chaos happening that we're just fighting in the background. But it's some of the craziest wire gags that are happening and you're just not seeing it. I remember Aaron Toney did an air ram to dead man, which is literally stepping off an air ram, being tied to a line that's a dead man, so it limits him.
Oh my God.
And what's crazy is it was the start of a mass chaos shot that pulls out. So every time we cut, he had to do it no matter what.
Oh, that sucks.
And you can't see it in the final movie.
That happens so often. That's the shitty thing. It's like you're doing this crazy stuff for something that never sees the light of day. That happens way too often. And it has to do with like all kinds of things. But like, you know, they say you got to do it anyway just in case it gets seen. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's covered up by wolves and stuff. Like they didn't know that was going to happen when they were shooting it.
No, I mean, that's the thing, whether you're shooting a stunt or whether you've got like a small part in a movie or a show or something, like you just don't know. It could get cut.
Yeah.
You know, any scene, even if you're like the main actor or something, like a scene that you loved, they could suddenly decide like, I don't really need that for the story. You need to cut down the runtime. That's gone.
Right.
You know?
I mean, there's a whole joke about that in Friends with Joey, his big debut, and his grandma's there to see it, and his scene gets cut. You
Yeah,
know?
it sucks.
It happens.
Of course.
Was he at least landing on a pad?
He was landing on a pad covered in snow, but that's one of those gags where it just sucks.
It's the dead man that hurts.
Yeah.
And especially with the ram.
I also still find it very funny that the fight coordinator of this movie is Jeff Amata, who's like a legendary fight coordinator known for his martial arts prowess and ability, and he's doing background fights on a Twilight movie. Talk about overqualification on the resume.
Sorry, sir, you're overqualified for this job.
Yeah.
So you're one of the wolves too, right?
So the wolves is what's crazy, which you guys would appreciate. The wolves are actually cardboard cutouts that are carried around by production assistants who run carrying cardboard, and when they eat people, they shake it at you, and you have to be pretending that this cardboard is eating you.
I can't imagine that PA running with the cardboard was at all useful for production.
Exactly.
Like, none of this is useful.
This is completely useless, yeah.
Security, sir.
Wait a second. He worked on G.I. Joe Retaliation and he worked on Snake Eyes. Oh no. I never saw Retaliation.
No, I didn't see this one
Some real
either.
stunts.
Yeah, there we
Finally,
go.
some real stunts. This one I went on to right off the back end of Twilight. It was another one I went on to with Aaron. I remember
that's
getting
cool.
called and being told I was gonna be a ninja. So for a month of preparation, I was running around my gym, practicing with the sword, doing wall flips, doing all kinds of tricks, and we show up and it's just a green screen wall. And they go, "Did you bring your harness?" And I go, "Yeah, this entire scene is wire work. You're gonna be on a wire for the next 4 months of your life."
Oh my gosh.
Then to make things even crazier, they then show up with this cinematic previs. We watched and we're like, "Oh, that's really funny." And they literally go, "No, you're gonna recreate every move in this animation." We literally did everything in this movie practical. Everything you're watching is completely 1000% practical, done on a green screen. It was not an easy scene by any means. I went to the hospital 2 times on this movie.
Really? What
Yes,
for?
I did. The most memorable one, I do a scene where I'm fighting Snake Eyes. I jump off the wall, and he's supposed to do a 180 turn and cut my wire, and my character falls down. This one right here. So it's supposed to be right there where he cuts the rope.
Oh, I see.
But as you guys see, yeah, it hit me in the head at full speed. While being on wires on a winch going 30 miles an hour at each other. So when you combine speed and force and a weapon.
Sounds like a lot of blood everywhere.
Yeah, which at first I didn't know. At first I got hit and I just got knocked out unconscious. And the reason I woke up was Aaron Toney yelled, "Yo, T, you good?" And I was like, I think so. And then he goes, "Oh no, you're bleeding." I'm like, uh-oh. But of course we're in red ninja outfits, right? So I can't see anything until they put me down on the line. As soon as they take my hood off, buckets of blood.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, it's pretty cool. The person that got to double me is the iconic Ilram
Oh,
Tway.
shit.
So I get to say, hey man, I got doubled by Ilram Tway.
Ilram was also on Corridor Crew.
Yeah, 100%, man.
That's wild. So Ilram and I go way back, just as far, almost as far back as I go with Travis. I've known Travis longer, and like we had dinner with Ilram.
Yeah, I love Ilram. He's a lovely guy.
Super nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
it's like the whole little stunt family, the stunt crew, all your friends.
Ilram's a much tall. I mean, you can't tell because everything's moving quick.
Yeah.
But Ilram's a much taller person.
It's all right. They Asian. It's the same.
Have a special cameo.
Oh!
Mama Wong.
What?
Everybody.
That's my mom.
That's your mom?
That's my mom.
That's wild. She's a real martial artist.
Oh, what a gangster.
This is what a common argument in the Wong household looks like.
People wonder why I was such a good kid and got straight A's. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Even in that movie when she did that, she was 55 doing her own fight scene in that movie.
Wow.
I have no excuses.
Right. What did you do today? That's my question.
Sat on a couch, talked to you guys, reminisced on how cool we used to be before we got hurt.
Before we broke ourselves.
Before we got broken.
Is there an injury that made you go, okay, I'm done?
There is not one specific injury that made me choose to quit, but there was one film that actually got me to the point where I decided to get to the other side of the camera. And that was a little film by the name of Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. In that scene, a robot's gonna pick up a bus by a magnet, lift it up, and then tilt it over, and we're supposed to fall out. On the day when we rehearsed it, it was a bus with no windows, all pads on the ground, so they lifted the bus up and we'd all just flip out and fall to the ground, onto the mats. We show up on the day, and the bus has limo-tinted windows, which means we can't see how high above the ground we are, and during the scene, there are stunt people running under us. So you have no idea if you're gonna fall out and land on top of somebody.
Yeah, I've heard things.
Yo, did you see that?
No.
That last guy that fell was Sam Locke, who is one of the most gangster guys in the stunt industry.
Yeah.
He fell from probably 9 to 10 feet high, straight to his face, dislocated his shoulder, and the camera car had to physically stop right in front of him before hitting him. This was just crazy. Sam is about to fall. See that dude on the vest on the ground right there? That's me. I jumped early. I jumped hella early. And then the other two guys that were hanging in there, they're strapped in, so they didn't get to fall. I was like, man, must be nice. I'll never forget, the scene started with 8 people, I think, maybe 7. Take 1, guy cut his head open, went to the hospital. Take 2, guy cut his arm open, went to the hospital. Take 3, a guy dislocated his shoulder, went to the hospital.
No.
Take 4, I'm looking around the room and I'm like, there are 3 of us left, yo. Like, who is next?
And that's Michael Bay's Squid Game.
Yeah, and I've
Wow.
I've heard that about Michael Bay's sets though. Like,
How can that be allowed?
he's gotten in trouble for stuff like that with the stunt coordinator for like making things more dangerous than it needed to be. I've heard of that happening and him getting into like arguments with the stunt people.
Yeah, I mean, they're
but I haven't heard
people.
I haven't heard this from Travis. Like, I haven't talked to him about it. I'd love to. This is more like Hollywood Reporter type stuff that you hear about.
But we did not make that much money.
The funny thing is I also worked on this film.
Yes.
But I got to be a robot. So I didn't have to go and jump out of buses or anything like that.
No anxiety attacks on
Yeah,
that one.
like Galvatron.
That is why I have no fear.
I got to go to ILM up in San Francisco
Oh,
and
shit.
do all these cool fights.
Must
Wow.
be
You know what ILM is?
Yeah,
Yes.
I had the cush job while you were working.
Must be
while you were
nice.
watching your fellow comrades
Exactly.
get taken out bit by bit.
Working on Michael Bay films, you definitely know what you're doing when you enter into those. Like, if you have no idea, then that's just kind of your fault at this point.
Right.
I will say this though, like the stunt coordinators on these jobs are always doing their best to handle the beast of the Michael Bay projects to make sure it's as safe as possible. There's just always inherent risk factor. The one thing I will say is cool about Michael is that he does get into the mix himself. So, you know, the one thing I do respect is that even though he demands a lot, he's willing to put himself in the line
Yeah,
of
he's
fire.
not like telling you to go and do this stuff and he's sitting in Video Village nice and cush with somebody massaging his feet. He's in there with you, so you're kind of like, I guess I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a ton more clips just like the one you guys just saw featured here. Be sure to subscribe so you can see what else we got in store for you.
Okay, so you were a performer, right? And then you're like, well, the performing thing is cool, but I'm always very close to dying. I don't want to do that anymore,
Dude.
but I still want to be a part of this industry, of this world, and do this kind of stuff, what was the next step that you did?
Let's not even lie. Let's just be fully transparent. I was on Transformers 4. I got a call from Jeff Amata, who said, hey, I'm gonna do a little movie called Fast and Furious 7. Will you be my assistant fight coordinator? I was like, I'm out of here. I immediately left Transformers, hopped onto Fast and Furious 7 in Atlanta, and this was the transition to the next stage of my career as a previs guy and an assistant fight coordinator.
That's dope.
Yeah.
The iconic Paul Walker versus Tony Jaa scene.
Oh yeah.
You know what's so funny about this scene too when I read the script? So you're gonna take the one guy who does all wide shots, runs around, does flips and kicks, and put him in the smallest set possible.
And make him fight in it.
And they're like, hey, can you show all his signature moves? I'm like, how? We're in a bus.
Yeah,
in
it's
order
rough.
to pull this off, I have to give a lot of props to Jeff Amata, who is the fight coordinator. He basically did a lot of like trapping stuff, which Tony Jaa isn't really known for. He's known for a lot of like, Muay Thai styles, big elbows, big knees. But in this, we did elements of trapping, which Jeff Amata is known for from his Jeet Kune Do background. And Paul Walker, man, so much could be said about this guy, but this guy was the first to show up at rehearsals, last to leave.
It's always nice to hear about like actors that are like that dedicated to the
Yeah,
craft.
man.
I'm impressed that Paul Walker looked like he was handling his own with Tony Jaa.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It'd be very hard to look like you could handle your own with Tony Jaa.
100%,
And
man.
he showed up and did the work. That's what makes it even
Yeah, that's
cooler.
cool.
It's not double work. It's
Yeah.
Paul Walker showing up and doing, like, I'm gonna get it done.
So I've heard stories, I won't say from who, I won't say about whom.
Okay.
But I've heard stories about stars who show up right before action, basically. Like 20 minutes before they're supposed to roll. They don't show up to rehearsal. They're not helping themselves. They're not helping the stunt people out. They're not helping anybody out by doing that. It's all ego. It's frustrating for, the coordinators, for the filmmakers involved. It's like, that's very frustrating, but they got to put up with it because that's the star.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's super cool of Paul Walker to have that level of dedication because he just wants to get it right. That's the same thing Keanu Reeves does. Like, he's really early to set and he does take after take after take. And he'll ask for more takes to get it right.
I think there's a certain sense of satisfaction as an actor to be able to perform as many of your own stunts as possible, or at least doing a fight scene or something, because it is something that is so cool, and to be able to do the training, do the work, and execute, I think it does give you a sense of like accomplishment of like, oh wow, I did that, or I did most of it. You know what I mean? Like, I imagine the feeling is really nice. Like, I'm just putting myself in their shoes, and I would love to be able to really go all out and do it.
Right. I think that if Furious 7 was an Indian film, they would have advertised the shit out of the fact that Paul Walker did his own stunts in that sequence.
Sure,
because when
yeah.
you watch it, you don't actually know for sure how much is him and how much is a double.
Yeah.
And like knowing that now, like that gives another level of appreciation to that sequence that I didn't have before.
Right.
And so I wish that they like pushed that even more.
In hubs, right? That's right.
So this scene was super unique and I'll never forget it because it was the first time I ever got the chance to work with The Rock. He showed up on day one of rehearsal and I'm like, all right, Dwayne, we're gonna like walk through it. And he's like, I do this there, I do this there. He tackled me to do there. And I literally go, you know the whole fight? And I'll never forget this. He's put his hand on my shoulder and goes, I used to do 30-minute live shows, little brother. This is 2 minutes.
Yes. So badass.
Well, he's a professional.
Yeah.
What was unique about this was our first fight scene for the entire production, so it really set the tone for the whole film. And what was crazy about it was that on day one of principal photography, our lead stunt double for The Rock had to go into the hospital into emergency surgery.
Shout out to Tanawai
Shout out to Tanawai Reed, The Rock stunt double.
and cousin.
Yeah, and his cousin.
Wow. All in the family.
Right there.
Oh man.
So what happened was he got tackled through that glass window, right? The glass is real. It's loaded with a charge of pyrotechnics that someone on the effects team will pop right at the right time so that it shatters the glass, and then your force going through it is what actually breaks it. So what hurt him was when he lands on the table, he lands on top of glass and basically shoved into his arm, almost cut an artery right here in his arm, and he had to go literally into emergency surgery right away. We're only halfway through the fight scene on day one, so we literally had to call in a favor on a guy that was a stand-in for The Rock on Hercules, fly him in emergency residency overnight, teach him how to do fight scenes, teach him how to do the rock bottom. And what's cool is you fast forward now to like 5 years later, that guy is one of the Rock stunt doubles.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
On,
What a cool
some crazy
opportunity.
double scale contract or something, you know.
Making money.
Yeah.
Having worked with a couple like bigger dudes like The Rock, I've never seen people who are more disciplined and exacting with their work and their job than people who do action and are also incredibly physically fit at the same time.
1000%. But yeah, honestly, in my personal opinion, the fights are literally what has brought Fast and Furious fans back to like a grounded reality. And I think that's why they're putting so much emphasis on the fights, you know, because the car stuff has just become almost like comical. It's like, you can't do that. You can't fly a car like that, you know, but the fight scenes are one of the more realistic things, I guess you could say. As we watch The Rock about to fall out of a window 50 feet onto the top of a car.
And survive.
Well, the car broke his fall.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're both
broke
huge
the
fans
car.
of action, but is there a realm of like stunt work that you're like, you know what, I want to see some cool stunts of this type?
I personally would like to see if anyone out there knows of any other tricking choreography that exists. I would love to see if there's any overseas films that people know about that feature more acrobatics that we've never seen.
Along with that, I'd also like to see more ninja stuff. I feel like ninjas got a bad rep in the 90s.
So you're saying that Surf Ninjas wasn't very appreciative or?
Yeah, nobody appreciates that movie. I love that movie.
Do not talk bad on Surf Ninjas. That was my childhood.
What's wrong?
You made me watch it. It's goofy as hell.
I had to go find like a bootleg version of this movie because it didn't exist anywhere.
No, but there were so many cool ninja movies back in the 90s, like Three Ninjas, Little Ninjas,
Yeah,
whatever
but
the hell.
this movie is like integral to my childhood. Like this was a very important film for me growing up.
That movie was not a part of my childhood, but yeah, it was cute. It was fun.
Ernie Reyes Jr., I think that for anyone who was like a young Asian or just a young aspiring martial artist, like
Yeah.
Ernie Reyes Jr. was like someone that was iconic to you that you're like, oh my God, that guy's so cool. Because he was in Ninja Turtles 2 and he was the star of Surf Ninjas. Fun fact, I got to train alongside him at Los Angeles Valley College a bunch.
Very cool.
So he's a very, very nice guy.
Tide, let's kick some butt.
Not to mention, that has one of the biggest stair falls in cinematic history.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know about the stair fall?
I didn't know about this.
That's got to be an episode in itself, y'all.
That's another
Yeah.
I feel like there's a stair fall in a Bollywood movie which would rival that one. The one in the Salman Khan movie where the lady falls down the stairs, I think. And it's just like, maybe it's not like as long of a staircase, but that shot goes on forever because they just keep repeating it. And she keeps falling down the stairs. She's like, ah.
Well, I can't remember what you're talking about, but like that was an actual stunt that was done.
Okay, well,
Yeah, it's a little
this
different.
is definitely way cooler. It's not just like putting a lady falling down the stairs on repeat, but that was epic.
Travis and Guy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Travis, what do you got going on if people want to, check out some more of this stuff?
Yeah, if you guys want to stay up to date with my personal journey, you can check out my Instagram at @TheTravisWong. And more than anything, I am a co-owner of Joining All Movement alongside Aaron Tony. So if you guys want to follow us, check us out on YouTube at Joining All Movement or JA Movement on Instagram.
You guys know who it is. I'm Gui DaSilva. You can find me on Instagram. I changed my name recently. It's my whole name now, Gui DaSilva Green. You guys keep hitting me up about coming back. I'm not in charge of that. So if you want me to come back and be on this amazingly comfortable green couch, bother Nico.
You can follow me on Instagram at NicoDG.
Direct DMs there.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait to be on Stuntmen React again. They're like, when are you gonna be on? I can't wait, man. When it happens, I'll be here.
Hey, it took me 2 years, so what do you complain about, bro? Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been dope.
Oh, I really liked that episode. Like it felt a little bit different from other ones.
The vibe was a little bit more chill, which
Yeah.
I actually thought was pretty cool. It was a little bit more relaxed.
Travis has so many cool stories anyway, and we know that from like just hanging out with him personally, but it was just kind of nice to see that along with the actual stunts that he's talking about and the projects and stuff that he's worked on, and he's so eloquent as well.
Yeah.
Like I love listening to his podcast.
He has a wealth of experience and knowledge, but he's also a host. He was a professional MTV host at one point. Like,
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
like he had one of the coolest intros I'd ever seen in anything. But like he did a sidestep Buscemi with the microphone in his hand and he just introduced the show. God, dude. It works very well for a program like this. And I'd been like crossing my fingers hoping to see him on this show for a long time because he knows how to like recall his experiences and speak about it in a way that's not just like clear about the details, but he's also funny. I knew he would be a great add-on for this segment of Corridor Crew.
Yeah, I can't believe it took so long for them to finally be like, oh yeah, I guess we could call Travis Wong. That'd be cool.
The reasons are probably never as deep as you think.
No, yeah.
You know, like why it hasn't happened, it just hasn't. Like it's that kind of thing. Yeah, but it's super fun. I'd love to see, you know, Travis and Aaron Tony on as well together because like they go way back.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'd have some great stories as well.
Word has it that they actually have another episode in the pipeline with Travis and Gui DaSilva. Like if you guys haven't subscribed to Corridor Crew and you enjoyed what you just saw, you should definitely subscribe to their channel so you can, you know, get a notification. You got to get the bell icon notifications, all that shit.
Yeah.
So that you can get notified when that drops because they're definitely coming back.
Yeah, but you should also definitely subscribe to Joining All Movement
Exactly.
as well. Because like their Monday like weekly roundup that you've been a guest on is super fun where they'll just like look at Instagram clips of really cool triggers and stuff. And so that's always a nice watch in the morning on Monday.
On the Jam podcast at youtube.com/joiningallmovement, Travis has an epic conversation with Chris Cowan, who helped out on Shang-Chi in a very significant way. And so that's a very educational podcast. I would strongly recommend giving it a listen if you're super into Marvel, you know, action, stunts, all that stuff. You know, it's just a great listen. And I really appreciated that episode. And he's also got an episode with his dad.
Oh,
so you guys should check that stuff out. Pretty cool. And that's it for now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, all notifications, please. And vote this up to let YouTube know you enjoyed what you watched. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.